All right, get ready to dive into something pretty wild today. Stargates and portals. You know, those doorways to other worlds or times, even parallel universes. The idea's been around forever.
Yeah, it really has.
And you've been researching a ton of sources on it for us, from ancient myths to modern physics. So what is it about stargates and portals that makes people think they might actually be real?
I think it's how widespread the idea is. I mean, ancient cultures all over the world talk about them,
Right.
and they still show up all the time today. In science fiction, in movies, it's like this idea really captures the imagination.
It definitely does. And speaking of things that capture the imagination, what about those doors that aren't doors?
Oh, yeah.
These mysterious doorways carved into ancient structures, but they seemingly can't be opened. Like, what's the deal with those?
They really are like puzzles from the past. It's like,
Yeah.
why go to all that effort to create a door that doesn't open?
Right?
Like, take the Gate of the Gods in Peru, this massive stone archway carved into a cliff face.
I've seen pictures of that. It's incredible.
It really is. And no one knows how they even made it, let alone why.
It's a total mystery.
Totally.
And it's not just in Peru, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, you sent me some information about that stone archway in Tijuana. And there are others too. All over the world, these doors that don't seem to go anywhere.
And to make things even more mysterious, a lot of these structures have these strange symbols carved near them.
Yeah, those symbols are fascinating. They're super intricate geometric designs, and they're found all over. Sri Lanka, Egypt. You find them near a lot of these suspected Stargate locations.
And mainstream science has no idea what they mean.
Not really, but that hasn't stopped people from coming up with their own theories, especially those who believe in ancient astronauts.
Okay, so let's talk about those theories. You flag a few interesting ones in your notes. What are some of the explanations people have come up with for these symbols?
Well, one theory is that the symbols are like a map.
Oh, interesting.
Like they show the destinations that are accessible through the Stargate.
So you're saying like a cosmic travel guide?
Exactly. And then there's another theory that the symbols are actually a code.
A code?
Yeah, a code to activate the Stargate technology.
Like a key?
Kind of. And then another theory is that they're like technical diagrams.
Technical diagram.
Yeah, like showing how the Stargate technology worked.
But the technology is missing.
Right. Which is why we can't figure out how to use them, of course.
Right, of course. So we've got the doors, we've got the symbols, and we've got theories about what it all means. But let's get specific. Where are some of these supposed Stargates located? You highlighted a few in your research.
Yeah, there are a bunch of places that people believe might be Stargates. One that really caught my eye is the Sumerian Stargate. It's on the Euphrates River.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, it's this grand staircase that just kind of ascends into the sky, like it doesn't lead anywhere. And there are these ancient seals from the area that show figures coming out of what looks like a portal. And they're flanked by these wavy lines that could be water or maybe even some kind of energy field.
So are we talking like actual physical beings walking through these portals?
That's what the seals seem to suggest.
Wow.
It's pretty wild stuff. You also marked the Sedona Vortex, right?
Oh yeah, Sedona. What's the story with that one? Why do people think it's a Stargate?
Well, Sedona is known for these amazing red rock formations.
Right.
And a lot of people say the energy there is just different, like more intense than other places.
I've heard about that.
And there are tons of stories about people feeling this heightened energy when they're there, or a sense of well-being. Now, there isn't really any scientific evidence to back that up, but the stories are pretty compelling.
Yeah, and you included that one account from some early settlers about a man vanishing after he entered a doorway in the rocks. That one's pretty chilling.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely a classic. And it really adds to the whole mystery of Sedona.
Definitely. What about Abu Ghraib in Egypt? What makes that a suspected Stargate location?
Well, Abu Ghraib has this circular stone platform that's pretty unique, and it's believed to be a landing site for gods. Or at least that's what people thought back then.
Landing site for gods.
Yeah, or maybe a place where people departed to go to the realm of the gods. It's hard to say for sure, but what's interesting is how those gods were often depicted as disembodied thinking beings, not physical beings in spaceships or anything.
Interesting. So more like pure consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you wonder if maybe these weren't physical spaceships at all, but some kind of consciousness traveling through portals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about those ancient doors, the symbols, and a few potential Stargate locations. But the big question is, how could any of this actually work?
Right. How do you travel instantaneously from one point to another?
Yeah.
Well, the only scientifically plausible explanation for that would be wormholes.
Wormholes.
Yeah, these theoretical tunnels through space-time.
Like those shortcuts you see in sci-fi movies.
Exactly, like folding a piece of paper so two distant points touch. That fold would be like a wormhole connecting places that are light years apart. But there's a catch.
What's that?
To create a wormhole stable enough for a person, you'd need exotic matter.
Exotic matter.
Yeah, it's hypothetical. It would have negative mass and energy density. The thing is, we haven't discovered anything like that yet.
So wormholes might be theoretically possible, but we're a long way off from building one big enough to walk through.
Pretty much. But there's some exciting news.
Oh.
Scientists recently managed to create a tiny wormhole.
Really?
Yeah, it was inside a quantum computer.
So not exactly a Stargate you could step through.
No, not yet. It was super short-lived, but it's still a huge deal.
Why?
It proves that the concept of a wormhole is possible, at least on a tiny scale.
So even though it's not a full-fledged Stargate, it's still a major breakthrough.
It really is. It blurs the lines between science fiction and reality even more. And it makes you wonder, if we can create a tiny wormhole, could someone out there have figured out how to do it on a much larger scale?
Now that's a question worth pondering.
It really makes you think, what if someone, somewhere out there, has already cracked the code?
Right. I mean, we've been focusing on ancient structures and scientific theories, but what about people who claim to have actually experienced stargates or portals?
Yeah, those personal accounts are definitely out there.
And you flagged quite a few in the research you did.
I did.
So what are some of the common threads in these stories?
Well, a lot of them are pretty subjective, of course, hard to verify. But one thing that seems to pop up a lot is this feeling of stepping into a doorway or passing through a specific location and ending up somewhere completely different. A lot of them describe a sense of altered reality, like being transported to a familiar place, but it's also somehow alien. And some even talk about encountering beings or landscapes that are just beyond our current understanding of the world.
It's like stepping into a dream or another dimension.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You've got that one account highlighted about a guy named Elway Cordaro.
Oh, right, yeah.
What happened to him?
His story is a pretty fascinating one. So this was back in the 1970s, and he claims he stumbled upon a portal while he was hiking in the Andes Mountains, which, is already a region steeped in ancient legends and mysteries.
Right.
He described this shimmering doorway in the rock, and it led him to this lush, vibrant world, unlike anything he'd ever seen before.
Wow. And did he say how long he was there?
He claimed to have spent days in this other world, interacting with beings who had advanced knowledge and technology.
Hold on. He interacted with other beings. What were they like?
Well, according to him, these beings shared all sorts of insights about the universe and our place in it, big, deep stuff.
Did he have any proof? Like anything to back up his story?
He claimed he brought back some artifacts.
Really?
But unfortunately, those were lost in a fire a few years later.
Oh no. So all we have is his word.
Pretty much.
That's so frustrating. It's like those stories of people finding impossible artifacts and then they just vanish.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you wonder if there's something more to these tales, even if we can't prove them.
I think there's definitely something to be said for that. Like Eloy's story and others, it really highlight the enduring mystery of these phenomena, even if we can't definitively verify them.
Right.
They remind us that there might be more to reality than we currently understand. Like maybe there are forces at play that we just haven't discovered yet. Energies or dimensions that we don't have the tools to measure.
That's a pretty humbling thought.
It is.
Okay, so we've got these tantalizing personal accounts. But stargates and portals aren't just found in, fringe theories and stuff.
Right.
I mean, they show up in mythology, literature, even film. So what's the cultural significance of these ideas?
Well, I think it taps into this very deep human longing for connection, for transcending our limitations, and exploring the unknown.
I can see that.
It's a bridge between the known and the unknown, the mundane and the extraordinary. And in ancient cultures, they were often seen as gateways to the realm of the gods.
Places where the veil between the mortal and the divine is thin.
Exactly.
Like the Bifrost Bridge in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
That rainbow bridge connecting Asgard, the realm of the gods, to Midgard, the realm of humans.
Right, exactly. Or the Celtic otherworld,
Mm.
accessed through portals in like sacred groves or ancient burial mounds.
It seems like every culture has its own version of this idea.
They do, and I think it reflects our yearning for something beyond our everyday existence.
A connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yeah.
And this fascination continues today. I mean, look at the popularity of science fiction films and TV shows featuring stargates and portals.
Well, absolutely. Shows like Stargate, SG-1, Doctor Who, movies like Interstellar, it's all over the place.
They really capture the imagination, don't they?
They do. It sparks this sense of wonder about the vastness of the cosmos and what might be out there.
Totally. And they raise important questions, too, about the nature of reality, the possibility of parallel universes,
Right.
the potential for encountering other intelligent life.
All those big questions.
It's mind-blowing to think that these concepts, which used to be relegated to myth and speculation, are now being explored by scientists.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, those tiny wormholes we talked about earlier are proof that we're starting to grapple with these ideas in a more tangible way.
Right. It's a testament to how science is always evolving, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
So where do we go from here? We've covered ancient mysteries, personal accounts, the science of wormholes. We even touched on the cultural significance of stargates and portals. What's next in our exploration of this fascinating topic? It's a lot to take in, right? Ancient mysteries, personal accounts, even the science of wormholes. But now I kind of want to step back for a minute. Look at the big picture.
Sounds good.
Like, if stargates or portals really are possible, even just theoretically,
Right.
what does that mean for us? For how we understand reality, humanity's place in the universe, all of that.
I mean, that's a question that really pushes us to the edge of what we know.
It does.
Like, imagine a universe where traveling between worlds is a reality. For some advanced civilization out there, that might just be everyday life. It would totally change everything we think we know about space and time, existence itself, even.
Yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Think about the possibilities, though, for exploration, scientific discoveries. What if we could step through a door and end up on another planet?
It would be incredible. We might meet other intelligent life out there, learn from them,
Right.
realize we're not alone in trying to figure out all the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah.
But there's a flip side too, right?
What do you mean?
Well, the unknown always has a bit of risk to it.
True.
I mean, what if access to these portals fell into the wrong hands? It's not hard to imagine all sorts of conflicts popping up.
Over resources.
Territory.
Yeah.
Even something like diseases spreading from one world to another, or something we haven't even thought of yet.
Right. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Exactly. So it's not just a question of can we do this? It's also a question of should we?
And that brings up another question I've been thinking about. If stargates or portals are real, why haven't we found any solid proof?
Yeah. There are a few possibilities there.
Like what?
Well, maybe the technology is just so advanced, so beyond what we understand now that we can't even detect it.
Right.
Or maybe they're hidden, purposely kept secret. Who knows why?
That's an interesting thought.
It is.
Or maybe, and this is just a thought, maybe they operate on frequencies or in dimensions that our instruments can't pick up. Like we're looking right at them,
Yeah,
but we just can't see them.
exactly. Maybe we need to develop new tools before we can even find them. But that's the exciting part of science, isn't it? It keeps us asking questions, pushing the boundaries of what we think we know. And even if we never find absolute proof, just trying to understand these mysteries is a reward in itself.
This whole deep dive has been pretty incredible. I mean, we've covered so much.
We have.
From ancient myths to cutting-edge physics, we've looked at stargates and portals from all these different angles, and I hope it's left everyone listening with a sense of wonder and maybe a desire to learn even more.
Me too. The universe is a vast and mysterious place. Keep an open mind. Stay curious.
Never stop questioning. Who knows what secrets are out there, just waiting to be uncovered. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into stargates and portals.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring.